Welcome to Shamrock Reddit Stories Entitled People, where a kind woman lets her neighbors use her pool while she's at work and some newcomers take advantage of her generosity and break her rules and break into her property. This one's from Himabi, and it's called Entitled Mother Demands Free Food After Being Caught Shoplifting. This will be a quick one. It was a few days ago, and I was running the checkouts at my store. Because of this, the on-duty security guard came over to me and advised me to watch out for a suspected shoplifter. He described her to me and told me to call him if there was any trouble. About 15 minutes had passed, and I saw the security guard escorting out said lady while pulling a trolley of food and alcohol behind him. After he had thrown her out, I approached him to get the details. He had been watching her on our security cameras and had seen her prying off our security tags from the alcohol with something metal and then stuffing the bottles under the security carrier bags and food in her trolley. She was using a hand scanner, so she planned to scan only some items and not the rest, and then only pay for the stuff that she scanned. I thought nothing more of it. However, around 2 hours later, I hear commotion from the customer service desk, and so I get closer to see what's kicking off. And there she is, the lady, now referred to as Entitled Mother, and her daughter. I wasn't close enough to hear the conversation, so I'll summarize. She was demanding that she get all the food that she had previously tried to buy for free because our security guard had assaulted her, wrongly accused her of stealing, and then made her late to pick up her daughter from her friend's house. After making it clear the entire situation was on camera, she proceeded to swear at the customer service staff, spit towards the security guard, and then storm out of the shop with her daughter. She is now banned. Dun dun dun. Seamus and I wonder if these kinds of tactics ever actually work. We mean, is this the first time this entitled person has tried something like this? Or has she had success pulling off this kind of thing before? This one is from Master Vara 77, and it's called, Just Because I Let Some Families Use My Pool Doesn't Mean Everyone Can. Hello, everyone. I've decided to share my story with everyone here. When I was 30, I bought my first house. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bath, with a fenced-in backyard and an in-ground pool. I love my home. I work crazy hours at a factory, 12 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week. I saved up everything that I could for just over 7 years so that I could have my forever home. The entire neighborhood is extremely friendly. There are no major problems. Everyone looks out for one another. After about a year, I had pretty much gotten to know everyone within a couple of blocks from my place. It was around this time when my neighbor came over, and she sat down inside and chatted with me for a good hour. Then she asked if it would be possible if her kids could come over and use the pool once in a while. And, to be honest, I was completely fine with this. I was just happy that she had asked and was so polite about it. Plus, I had gotten to know their kids over the past year. They are very polite, and they have often come over and asked if I needed help with something if I was outside doing some yard work. So I told her they're free to use it when I'm at work. I further explained that I worked 12-hour days from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. And every 2 weeks, I switch from days to nights. And I told her that as long as it's not on days that I have to do nights, because I'll be sleeping during the day. And as long as she asks and cleans up after they're done, then I have no problem with it. This worked out very well for about a month and a half, when a couple of the other families had started asking if their kids could use it. I was a little hesitant letting too many people in my backyard at once. So we ended up all getting together, and we sat down for a meeting to discuss the pool. It was a total of 9 families with 12 children. We didn't have a public pool anywhere near us, so I told them I really don't mind if anyone uses the pool, but I had a few rules that had to be followed, and if they weren't followed for any reason, that I would put a stop to them using the pool. My rules are as follows. They could not come inside. The house was off limits. I have a lot of glass in my house. I love how it looks with all the windows and the natural light that comes in, and how it shines off different glass pieces I have set up throughout the house. It's beautiful, and it makes me very happy. And the thought of people coming into my house, especially when I'm not there, with children and all these glass pieces set up, worried me. If something bad happens, like if one of the kids had knocked over something and got cut or had an accident, it would be on me, and I did not want that to happen. And I also didn't want to have to rearrange my whole house. Number 2, all kids had to be supervised by an adult. No one could come in alone, and they could not leave their kids there alone for any amount of time. Number 3, they had to inform me either the night before or earlier in the morning if they wanted to use the pool, so I knew who was coming and I knew who was going to be there to watch the children. Number 4, they could not bring anyone else over. No bringing over other family members or friends. And finally, number 5, they had to clean up after themselves. If they are going to start to leave a mess and I had to clean it, then I was just going to stop letting them use the pool. It is now 17 years later, and every year the families are allowed to bring over their kids and use the backyard. Every year these families come over and help me open up the pool and put it away during the winter. We have a big barbecue, and they help me set up the entire front and backyard. It's wonderful. But there have been a couple of problems along the way. This is one of the big ones that sticks out after about 6 years of living in my home. I was getting ready to leave for vacation. Wasn't anything big or fancy. I was just going away for 4 days to spend time with my family. So, I informed everyone that for the next 4 days the pool will be closed because I will be leaving. The day I leave, I'm at the airport, but my plane was delayed. We all know that feeling. It was starting to get late, and we all got the notification after waiting there most of the day that the flight would not be departing until tomorrow. I was rather irritated sitting there all day waiting, so I went back to my house. I was quite tired. I just wanted to get in, go lay down, and go to sleep so I can be ready tomorrow. I got into my door, and I'm getting ready to go up the stairs. I've only turned on the one light when I hear this weird noise and splashing. Mind you, this is after 11 at night. I go to the back door, I open it up, and turn on the porch light to find a couple in my pool doing it. Yeah, you heard that right. And you will never believe what they did. They actually got angry with me because I was disturbing them. I flipped. I demanded to know what the heck they were doing, and how did they get in through the locked gate? This is a couple that I had not even recognized. I had no idea who these people were. The woman had the audacity to look at me and say, "What are you doing here? You were supposed to be gone for 4 days." I was dumbfounded. I didn't know who they were, but they knew I wasn't going to be here for 4 days. I turned around and I walked into my house. I didn't even bother arguing with them. I picked up the phone and I called the police. I told them there is a couple who I don't know who broke into my backyard and are in my pool doing it, and somehow knew that I was going to be gone for the next 4 days. Within 15 minutes, 2 cruisers showed up at my house. They came in the front and went to the backyard to find that the couple were still at it. I mean, can you believe it? Most people would have gotten embarrassed being naked in someone else's pool and would have taken off. But oh no, not these two. They actually went back to doing it after getting angry with me because I came back early. The couple get angry and both start saying, "Seriously? You called the cops on us?" Like I had disturbed them and they were the inconvenienced ones. The police took them aside and got them dressed. Turns out they were friends with one of the families that I allowed to come over to use the pool, and they had heard that I would be gone for the next 4 days, and since I was fine with letting other people use my pool, They didn't think I would mind. They had hopped over my locked fence and had the nerve to tell the police that I should be arrested for walking in on them and being a perv to watch them. Needless to say, I pressed charges, and the two of them spent the rest of the night in jail. I also went about making sure they could no longer come on my property. That was one of two of the biggest problems that I had. The second one happened this summer, 17 years later. I had told everyone that the pool would be closed because I was bringing my family down here to spend the week with me. Everyone was completely understanding. I had no problems with them. Both my neighbors on the right and the left of me have children, and they have been my neighbors for around 8 years now. They have always watched over my backyard, as they both have a very clear view from their porch, and they knew that I was going to be leaving on Sunday to go pick up my family, and that was the day that it was officially closed. No one was allowed to be in there. I went to the airport, I picked up my family, so happy to see them, get all their luggage, and we're driving home. As I'm pulling onto my street and I'm getting closer to my house, I notice cop cars. I'm thinking, oh no, what happened? I hope everyone's all right. As I'm pulling up to my house, I see all 3 cars are at my house. Now I'm starting to get panicky, thinking, oh my God, what's happened? Is everyone all right? I pull in, and I'm hearing screaming from a couple of different people, and an officer comes up to me, and I asked him, what's going on? This is my home. What happened? The officer asked me for my name and said, well, we got a call from your neighbor saying someone had broken in. He tells us that the ambulance is on the way. My mom and dad, my brother and my sister, and the 2 kids are all worried and asking a bunch of questions. Then this woman comes out of my backyard in a bikini with blood dripping down her arm. She has 4 kids, and one of them has blood on their foot. She looks at me and says, this is your house. This is all your fault. I'm completely dumbstruck. So many questions went through my mind. Who is this woman? Who are these children? What were they doing in my backyard? How did they get hurt? 2 cops take her to the side with her kids, and 1 cop takes me to the side. The police then explained to me this woman had jumped over the fence and had her kids jump over so that they could go swimming in my pool. Apparently, she had heard that anyone could use my pool at any given time. It turns out she had just moved into the neighborhood a couple of months ago, and she is about 2 blocks away from me. After swimming for about 15 to 20 minutes, her youngest needed to use the bathroom, so she tried to get into my back door to find it locked. Apparently, her kid needed to go and couldn't wait till they got home, so she used her arm to break the window on my door to unlock it. She got in and was looking for a cloth because she cut herself. Then her son started running throughout my house and bumped into the glass vase that I have in the center of the room. He knocks it over and it shatters, and he stepped on some of the glass, and that's how he cut his foot. My neighbors had heard the commotion and went into the backyard to see this woman breaking into my house and opening the door. They had called the police. This woman was screaming at the top of her lungs how she's going to sue me because she hurt herself getting into my house, and how dare I keep my door locked when I'm fine with people using the pool. She screams, how dare I have glass that would hurt any kid in my house when I allow people to use my pool. I went inside and saw the damage. Sure enough, there was glass shattered all over my living room floor. There was blood and water all over my house because they had run all over trying to find the bathroom. There was blood all over my kitchen and on all of my drawers as she frantically opened every drawer and rummaged through my stuff to try to find a cloth to take care of her arm and her son's foot. 2 officers had come in and I was just sitting there. I didn't know what to do. I could not believe that this had happened. They asked a bunch of questions, and after talking with them, they realized that I did not know this woman. She had no permission to come into my locked backyard or to break into my locked house. I pressed charges, and I had demanded that she pay for all the damages. It took a while, and we had to go to small claims court. She fought it with everything she could. She ran around telling anyone and everyone how horrible I was, how dangerous it was in my house. However, no one in the neighborhood would listen to her. Everyone knows the 5 rules in my house, and everyone knows that as long as you ask me to use the pool, and as long as I know who's all there and who is watching the kids, it's fine. In the end, it took about 2 months, and she had to pay for all the damages she had caused. And she wound up moving within 3 months because no one wanted to talk to her after this. The group of people who I allowed to come over, which is pretty much everyone within a couple of blocks of me, were all quite worried that I would cancel the pool from now on because of this situation. I told them no, I'm not going to punish them and their families because of what one woman had done. However, I did tell everyone that I was going to put up cameras simply for my own safety, so that when I leave, I don't have to be as worried anymore, and everybody was fine with this. So the cameras go up in 3 days, and I will not be leaving my home until it's done. I got the mess cleaned up with my family's help. Needless to say, the first 2 days at the house with my family were ruined, but the rest of the time with them was wonderful. Man, OP really is a kind neighbor, letting all of her respectful neighbors use her pool pretty much whenever they want. That's some next level neighborly. It's a good thing that those instances of pure entitlement didn't ruin it for the rest of the neighbors. When you get the chance, scoot on over to our Shamrock Reddit Stories channel and check out the other videos that we have to offer for your viewing entertainment. Did we allow enough time for you to click the buttons before the automatic play activated? We hope so. Until next time, folks.